Someone you loved hid this from you for years, and the moment you find out, nothing about your life will remain the same. Heaven has been waiting for this unveiling, angels have been circling your name, and God Himself has decided that silence must end today. For so long, you felt something in your spirit, a gentle stirring, a question you could not form into words. You looked at their eyes when they were alive, you held their hands, you shared your days with them, yet something always felt incomplete. And now, the mystery is about to be unveiled, because God does not allow secrets to last forever when destiny is on the line. This secret, oh, it was not small. It was not something that could be brushed aside. It was a truth carefully wrapped in silence, a truth hidden behind smiles, a truth kept away from your heart so that you might continue without breaking. They loved you, yes, they did, and perhaps that is why they hid it. Sometimes love hides, sometimes love protects by silence, sometimes love shields us from truths that feel unbearable. But the heavens are whispering that the time of shielding is over. God says, "My child, you are strong enough now. You are ready to know. You are ready to see. You are ready to feel the truth I have kept." Someone you loved hid this from you for years, and the moment you find out, tears will fall, but healing will rise. You will feel the sharpness of what was hidden, but you will also feel the gentleness of God's hand steadying you. This is not a revelation meant to break you. This is a revelation meant to free you. For when truth enters, chains shatter. When truth shines, shadows dissolve. When truth is unveiled, what once seemed confusing suddenly begins to make sense. You remember their laughter, don't you? The way their voice filled rooms, the way their presence gave you comfort. You remember the nights when you sat together, sharing words, sharing silence, sharing pieces of life. Yet in the middle of it all, there was something you could not see, something they carried quietly, something heaven recorded but you never knew. And now, finally, God is saying, look closer. Hear what was hidden. Step into what is being revealed. The moment you find out, yes, that moment will feel like a collision between past and present. Your heart will race, your mind will swirl, and your spirit will tremble. But after the storm, peace will settle. Because truth does not come to torture, truth comes to heal. It comes to set free. It comes to align your steps with heaven's design. The secret they carried was not meant to stay buried forever. God chose this exact moment to pull it from the shadows and place it into your hands. Someone you loved hid this from you for years, and as this unveiling happens, Archangel Michael himself stands near, ensuring that nothing interrupts this divine disclosure. For heaven understands the weight of this revelation. Heaven knows the tears that will fall. Heaven knows the questions that will rise. But heaven also knows the restoration that follows. This is not the kind of truth that leaves you shattered on the ground. This is the kind of truth that plants your feet on holy ground, a truth that redefines your journey, a truth that brings clarity where confusion lived. The moment you find out, you will understand why certain things happened the way they did. You will understand why some prayers seemed delayed, why some doors were shut, why some people entered your life and others left. You will look back and realize, nothing was wasted. Even their silence, even their hidden truth, even their decision to keep it from you, all of it was allowed under heaven's wisdom. And now, when God reveals, He does so because you are prepared. You can almost hear their voice, can't you? You can almost sense their presence near, as if they too have been waiting for this hour. Because sometimes the ones we loved, the ones who left us, are still tied to our story through heaven's design. And in this unveiling, their love is still present. They did not hide it out of malice. They hid it because they thought it would protect you. But now, God says protection is no longer silence, protection is truth. Someone you loved hid this from you for years, and the moment you find out, you will cry, you will tremble, you will even whisper, "Why now, God? Why this way?" But God's answer will echo through your spirit, because now you are ready. Now you are strong. Now you will understand not with pain but with peace. Now you will rise, not with confusion but with clarity. This revelation will not only change how you see them, it will change how you see yourself. It will heal wounds you didn't know were still bleeding. It will answer questions you didn't know you were still asking. It will remind you that even in silence, love was present. Even in secrecy, care was hidden. Even in what was withheld, affection remained. The moment you find out, you will not only weep, you will worship. Because suddenly, the tapestry of your life will look different. Suddenly, you will see how heaven was weaving threads you thought were torn. Suddenly, you will recognize that God wastes nothing, not even secrets, not even silence, not even sorrow. Someone you loved hid this from you for years, and today, God is saying the unveiling is part of your healing, part of your freedom, part of your destiny. This is not a random moment. This is not a coincidence. This is heaven's timing. And when heaven speaks, all creation listens. Someone you loved hid this from you for years, and the moment you find out, you will realize that silence itself was speaking all along. What they did not say was still shaping your life. What they kept hidden was still guiding your steps. It may shock you, it may make you question, but soon it will make you understand that love can take many forms, sometimes loud, sometimes quiet, sometimes hidden like a seed in the soil waiting for its time to grow. This secret they carried was not small. It was like a treasure locked away, a story written in invisible ink. Every time they looked at you, every time they smiled at you, there was something behind their eyes that you could not read. And yet, you always felt it in your spirit, an unfinished sentence, a word unspoken, a truth carefully folded into silence. And now, God says, it is time. Time to unfold what was folded. Time to reveal what was hidden. Time to see what you could not see. The moment you find out, the pieces of your life will connect in ways you never imagined. The unanswered questions of your childhood, the sudden turns of your journey, the feelings you could not explain, all of them will find meaning. Because what was hidden was not lost, it was only preserved. Preserved until you were strong enough, preserved until you were ready, preserved until the divine hour struck. Someone you loved hid this from you for years, not because they did not trust you, but because they loved you too deeply. They feared what truth might do to your heart. They feared how it might change the way you looked at them, at yourself, at your life. So, In their silence, they thought they were shielding you. But God is whispering to you now, my child, I was shielding you. I was guiding you. And now, I say it is time for truth to meet you face to face. Watch closely, because the revelation will not come with thunder, it will come like a whisper. A memory may surface. A dream may speak. A word may strike your heart at the right moment. And suddenly, you will know. The veil will lift. The hidden will be plain. And in that moment, you will realize that heaven always knew. The moment you find out, your heart will break, but only for a moment. Because God will step in and mend it with golden threads. He will take the sharpness of the revelation and turn it into the sweetness of healing. He will transform your tears into rivers that cleanse your soul. He will remind you that love is never wasted, even when it hides truth. Someone you loved hid this from you for years, and now you will see how even their silence was part of God's plan. You will look back at their actions, their words, their choices, and suddenly you will see the meaning behind them. You will realize they were carrying more than they showed. You will realize their strength was greater than you thought. And you will realize that their love, even in hiding, was still love. The moment you find out, you will fall to your knees, not in despair but in awe. Awe at how God orchestrates life. Awe at how heaven weaves secrets and revelations into one story. Awe at how what was hidden for years can suddenly appear like light breaking through a storm. Someone you loved hid this from you for years, and this exposure is not a punishment, it is a gift. A gift of clarity. A gift of closure. A gift of healing. Because there are truths that hurt for a moment but heal for a lifetime. There are secrets that wound when revealed but free when embraced. This is one of them. The moment you find out, you will feel their presence near, even if they are no longer on earth. You will sense their voice whispering, now you know. Now you see. And now you are free. Their silence was never meant to deny you. Their silence was their way of protecting you until heaven's timing arrived. And now, heaven's timing is here. Finally, what was hidden is being revealed. Finally, what was buried is being unearthed. Finally, the mystery that circled your spirit for years is being answered. And in this unveiling, you are stepping into freedom. Someone you loved hid this from you for years, and the moment you find out, you will finally understand why your spirit carried a weight that words could never explain. It was not just your imagination, it was not just passing thoughts, it was the echo of a truth heaven had preserved for you. For years, the silence of someone close to you became the greatest mystery, and now, God says, I am unfolding it in my timing. This secret, oh, it was not simple. It was layered with sacrifice, wrapped in love, and sealed with tears you never saw. They carried it quietly, choosing never to place the burden on your shoulders. They thought they were protecting you, but heaven knew one day you would need the truth to step into freedom. That day is here. That hour has come. The moment you find out, memories will begin to look different. The way they hugged you, the way they looked at you, the way they sometimes went quiet when you asked certain questions, all of it will suddenly make sense. What you thought were random silences were actually sacred pauses. What you thought were incomplete words were actually guarded truths. And now, God is saying, the mystery ends here. You will see clearly. You will know deeply. You will walk freely. Someone you loved hid this from you for years, but heaven never hid it. Heaven wrote it in the book of your destiny. Heaven carried it until you were ready. Heaven is now handing it to you, saying, this is not to destroy you. This is to strengthen you. This is to complete the picture of your life. You can almost feel their presence right now, as though they are near, waiting for you to know. For even beyond the veil of life and death, love does not end, love does not die, love does not fade. And their love for you is why they hid this. But their love for you is also why God is now revealing it. Because love cannot remain buried when truth is needed. The moment you find out, it may feel like the ground beneath you shakes. Tears may fall without warning. Questions may rush into your mind. Why didn't they tell me? Why did they keep this away? Why was I left in the dark? But God's answer will steady you, because you were not ready then. But you are ready now. Because then it would have broken you. But now it will build you. Because then it would have been unbearable. But now it will be healing. Someone you loved hid this from you for years, and that silence became part of your story. But now, this revelation will become part of your freedom. This truth will not weaken you, it will empower you. It will show you that even in silence, you were loved. Even in secrets, you were protected. Even in what was withheld, you were still chosen. Finally, the veil is lifting. Finally, the silence is breaking. Finally, the story you never knew is being written in front of your eyes. And as you see it, as you embrace it, your life will shift. Old doubts will fade. Old wounds will heal. Old fears will dissolve. Because truth, no matter how delayed, always sets free. Someone you loved hid this from you for years, but now you know. And knowing does not end the love you shared, it deepens it. It shows you that even in their silence, they were thinking of you. Even in their hiding, they were carrying you. Even in their secrecy, they were protecting your heart the only way they knew how. The moment you find out, your tears will mix with gratitude. You will say, now I see. Now I understand. Now I can move forward. And God will whisper, yes, my child. This truth is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of a new chapter. Someone you loved hid this from you for years, and the moment you find out, you will feel the weight of both sorrow and relief. For years, this secret lived quietly, like a sealed envelope in the chambers of memory, waiting for heaven's signal to open. You wondered why certain things never made sense, why their eyes sometimes looked far away even when they were right beside you, why their words seemed to pause at the edge of truth. Now God is saying, my child, it is time to know. The veil must lift. What was hidden will no longer stay buried. This truth, it was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to preserve you. They hid it not out of deception, but out of protection. They believed silence was their way of loving you. But God is showing you that love is never complete without truth. And so, the season of silence is ending. The season of unveiling is here. The moment you find out, the pieces will click. The sudden turns of their life, the choices that puzzled you, the words they never finished, all of it will align. You will see that behind the curtain of their silence was a storm they never wanted to pass to you. They carried it themselves. They bore the weight so you wouldn't have to. And in doing so, they left behind a mystery that only heaven could one day explain. Someone you loved hid this from you for years, and as you discover it now, you will understand that their silence was not weakness, it was sacrifice. It was their way of protecting your innocence, your peace, your hope. They thought silence would keep you safe. But God says, now truth will keep you free. The moment you find out, your tears will fall not only for what was hidden but for the love that motivated the hiding. You will weep, not in bitterness, but in awe, because to carry such a secret required strength. To withhold such a truth required courage. And now that you know, you will carry not anger, but honor. Honor for their struggle. Honor for their sacrifice. Honor for their unspoken love. Finally, the curtain is lifted. Finally, the hidden room of memory is opened. Finally, the echo that followed you for years now speaks clearly. And as it speaks, you feel chains break off your spirit. Confusion lifts. Fear dissolves. You are no longer haunted by what you didn't know, you are healed by what you finally understand. Someone you loved hid this from you for years, and now you see why your heart always felt unfinished. Now you understand why God let you wait so long. Because revelation without strength would have crushed you, but revelation with strength will transform you. God says, I have allowed you to grow into the strength you needed. And now, what once would have broken you will now bless you. The moment you find out, a new chapter begins. You will no longer carry the silent question in your soul. You will no longer look at their memory with confusion. Instead, you will carry their name with peace. You will remember them with clarity. You will honor them with truth. And most of all, you will rise, because what was hidden has been revealed, and what was silent has finally spoken. This is the climax of the mystery. This is the point where sorrow meets healing, where silence meets speech, where shadow meets light. And in this holy meeting, you will know that God never abandoned you, that heaven never forgot you, that truth never died, it only waited. Someone you loved hid this from you for years, but now you know. And knowing has set you free. Someone you loved hid this from you for years, and the moment you found out, your heart broke, but your spirit began to mend. What was hidden became light, what was silent became sound, what was incomplete became whole. For years, you carried questions with no answers, feelings with no clarity, memories with no explanation. But now, the truth has arrived, and with it, peace follows like a river. This revelation is not the end of your journey, it is the rebirth of it. God allowed the veil to lift not to wound you, but to restore you. What you thought would crush you has instead awakened you. What you thought would bury you has instead planted you. And now, out of the soil of mystery, a new life is springing forth. Someone you loved hid this from you for years, but look at what their silence has given you now, a strength you did not know you carried, a faith you did not know was growing, a perspective that only revelation can bring. You are no longer walking blindfolded. You are no longer bound by unanswered questions. You are walking in clarity. You are standing in light. The moment you found out, you wept, but those tears were cleansing. They washed away the weight of confusion. They washed away the sting of silence. They washed away the ache of not knowing. And now, after the storm of revelation, a rainbow of healing stretches across your spirit. You are not the same as you were before you knew. You are stronger. You are freer. You are whole. Finally, you can remember them without questions. Finally, you can hold their memory without heaviness. Finally, you can honor their love with understanding. The silence they left you with is no longer a burden, it has become a bridge. A bridge that carried you from confusion into clarity, from sorrow into peace, from mystery into freedom. Someone you loved hid this from you for years, but now God is showing you that even what was hidden had purpose. Even what was withheld was working for your good. Even what you did not know was shaping who you were meant to become. Because nothing is wasted in the hands of God, not secrets, not silence, not even sorrow. The moment you found out, heaven released you from the weight of wondering. Heaven restored what was lost in silence. Heaven gave you back what mystery had stolen. And now, you stand as living proof that revelation heals. You stand as testimony that truth sets free. You stand as evidence that love never dies, it only transforms. Someone you loved hid this from you for years, but God has turned that hiddenness into healing, that mystery into meaning, that silence into strength. And from this day forward, your steps will be lighter, your heart will be steadier, your spirit will be freer. This is not the closing of your story. This is the opening of a new chapter. A chapter where you walk in the fullness of truth, in the freedom of clarity, and in the power of divine love.